What's up guys, welcome back to Fancy Goldfish Fanatics. Today we are going to be doing a back to basics series all on goldfish food. So make sure you stay tuned to find out more. Hey Fanatics family, welcome back. As always, check out those links in the description and make sure you've joined our Facebook group. Today we're going to be doing another back to basics series, as we haven't done one in quite a while now, and we're going to be doing it all on the different types of food you can feed your goldfish. I see these questions come up quite often on the Facebook group, so I thought it was time to make a video about it. Saying that, if you want any other video, if you've got any ideas, any other different video ideas, drop a comment down below and let me know what you want me to do a video on. So let's begin the video. Goldfish, or fancy goldfish, have very different shapes from the more natural common goldfish, so therefore they can have a little bit of digestion issues. They have compacted organs, so they aren't as efficient at digesting food, and sometimes air can get trapped in their digestive tract, which can cause swim bladder problems, buoyancy issues, etc. So when we feed our fish, we need to make sure they've got a good balanced diet. Make sure we include foods that have quite a high moisture content and aren't going to swell up within the fish. Most foods that they aren't going to take from the surface of the water as well. So there are many different foods we can use to combat these issues and make sure our goldfish grow really big, fat and chubby. So first up on the list is Flake Foods. Now, Flake Foods should only be fed in moderation, in my personal opinion, as when fish take Flake Foods from the top of the water surface, they can also ingest air, which can cause swim bladder issues. In healthy, active fish, this isn't too much of a problem if you're feeding Flake Foods sparingly, and there are some quite good ones on the market, such as the Omega range. They do some quite good Flake Foods. Now, on to Pellet Foods, which is what the majority of goldfish keepers will feed. Lots of these can have high levels of carbohydrates and undigestible proteins that are from wheat or from vegetable origin, quite dry vegetables, and stuff that we don't really want our goldfish to consume. So when you look at the label on that package of pellets, you want to see right at the beginning, for the largest ingredient content, a protein like fish meal, or it's good to have krill, or you want to see some high level proteins that are from animal origin, rather than these plant-based vegetables that we don't really want our goldfish to consume the bulk of in their diet. Now, it is good to feed vegetables, which brings me on to veggies, but these are much better fed in a homemade food, fresh vegetables with a high moisture content, easily digestible, and that can be broken down, such as cucumber, courgette, even carrots. You can give some potato, spinach, green leafy vegetables. There is quite a big range, and also garlic as well. That's a really good one to add into your food. And these foods are easily digestible. You get that healthy plant matter into the diet, and the goldfish, it can help with high levels of fiber, can actually help move the food along its digestive tract so it can pass its waste easily and therefore not get any compaction issues or any swim bladder problems. So now we've covered the more veggie style foods and the already prepared foods from manufacturers, we can move on to some different foods such as live foods. Now, live foods are good. They give the goldfish some enrichment. You can feed like live shrimp potentially, or Daphnia, bloodworm as well, or blackworms. They give the goldfish a bit of enrichment. They've got to search for the food. If you've got substrate, they can search through that, sift through that. The only thing I would say is, if you are doing live food, you really need to be careful about potential contamination with parasites. So if you are feeding live food, you do need to think of that. For instance, with brine shrimp, they may be in salty conditions, so they may not be too much of a threat because all the parasites will likely die. But if you're feeding something like Daphnia, it is good to culture them yourself so you know where they've come from and you know they aren't contaminated with anything. However, if you do want to feed these live foods, but with far less risk to no risk at all, you can go for the frozen option. In your local fish store, you should easily be able to get lots of frozen foods. Bloodworm, Daphnia, brine shrimp, Cyclops are good for really young fish. So you'll be able to get mysis shrimps as well, which are slightly larger shrimps with more fats and oils in them. And these can prevent that contamination from happening and bringing over those parasites. Ranges like the TMC range, I believe, are gamma treated, so they're actually treated to remove any pests or parasites within the food, so you can be really safe with that. And if you want to go that extra mile, you can use foods from the sea as origin, so foods that are in a high salt level, because when transferring into fresh water, those parasites won't be able to survive anyway. But majority, you're going to be absolutely fine feeding frozen foods, and bloodworm is an absolutely great frozen food, and I'd say a staple for all fancy goldfish keepers. Now finally, I did mention it at the beginning of the video with homemade foods and using homemade veggies prepared. You can also use gel foods such as Rapashi Super Gold. I've done a few videos on modifying Rapashi and also how to make Rapashi. I believe they're in this Back to Basics series playlist, so you can go and check those out if you want to know how to make Rapashi gel food. So you can use Rapashi Super Gold, or you can even make your own gel food. We actually did a video probably about 6 months ago, something like that, making our own homemade gel food. So that is something to consider as well. You can use agar, which is derived from seaweed, as your setting agent, and you can bundle lots of veggies, even pellets or bloodworm into that as well. When preparing gel food, you can freeze it, make it in bulk, which is much more economical, and then you can freeze that in small little ice cube trays, which you can just pop out into the tank and the fish will absolutely love. Also, with a homemade gel food, you can add whatever you want, and you can add the best ingredients, so we've got no fillers or no bulking agents in the diet, which is absolutely great for the longevity of our goldfish, and they absolutely go crazy for it. So that's it for this video. I've highlighted all the main food sources that we should be feeding our fancies, and it is always best to give a bit of variation in the diet. It keeps your fish active, it keeps them with a bit of enrichment. They get a bit of enrichment out of a varied diet, and you also will likely notice that the colour of the goldfish will increase, their activity will increase, and so will their growth rate as well if you're feeding a nice, balanced, healthy diet. So that's it for this video. In the next video, hopefully we're going to be getting a temperature controller from Inkbird, and we're going to be talking all about heaters and temperature controllers, maintaining a stable environment for your fish in general. And then hopefully after that, we'll do a little bit of an unboxing on the Inkbird and just a little bit of information about setting it up. Also, just before I finish, if you want to enter your tank into the Rate My Tank series, or you would like me to do a tank tours video on your entire setup, then feel free to email me down below at fancygoldfishfanatics@gmail.com, and we can get that video sorted for you. So that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching. Remember to keep those water changes up, and happy fish keeping.